we're 15 minutes behind, but they promised me my 45 minutes anyway. So now the problem here is the same for both of my sessions. I have no idea why they decided to give me these slots, because now I'm keeping you from your lunch, and then afterwards I'm keeping you from your beer. So I get this best opportunity to have you here. I hope you'll last for the 45 minutes. We're going to do a very demo-heavy 45 minutes. I don't know if I've ever done as many demos in 45 minutes as I'm going to do now. If you have no idea who I am, my name is Sami Laiho. I'm from Finland. I teach all around the world anything related to operating system internals, sysinternals, troubleshooting, security, whatever, almost. Spent last week at Ignite, and now I'm here. I actually spent 3 days in Finland before I came here. That's amazing. Have to do that more often. Usually I just go home and count the kids and then I'm off again. But Paula had the same problem as I do. I don't know, Paula is here now. No, she's not. But anyway, she had the same problem as I, which is you have to understand that you have to stop traveling as much as you do when your TripIt shows that during the last year you flew 1 hour more than a Lufthansa pilot. And that's the time when you realize you should spend less time in an airplane, okay? I got a lot of certificates. I'm a Microsoft MVP. They asked me to do a slide for Ignite to show how much certificates I have, and they gave me a slot on the speaker slide to list all the certificates, so I had no idea how to do it, but now I came up with a way. So I got all the certificates and now I weigh them. So it's 1.2 kilos. I have no idea how many, but that fits on the slide. So 1.2 kilos of certificates, okay? My kind of trademark wherever I travel is teaching people also about the great country called Finland, which actually has its 100th birthday this year. So it's an anniversary date. So not to disappoint anyone, I do have some Finnish lessons for you as well. Finnish is very easy, and I don't understand how a nation could go without having a word in their vocabulary to state this with one word. The feeling when you're going to get drunk home alone in your underwear with no intention of going out, okay? Because in Finnish, we have a word for it, and actually, we made it even better. Now you can officially register Unicode emojis. So Finland actually registered this as an official emoji as well. So it's called kalsarikännit. And it's actually a real emoji, so now we'll wait for the next iPhone release to get it for the official emojis. So if you didn't learn any, as I see so many of you taking pictures, if you didn't learn anything of this session, this one you should learn, okay? Don't do this after the sessions. Stay here, don't go home. Spend the nice night with us, rather. I'm going to talk about reasons of why you can't be an admin. NT User Guide, back in 1993, version 3.1, the user guide has a security guide which is like this thick, so it only has a few things into it, and one of the important things that it states is that in Windows there is no security if you are an admin. Nothing is built to work when you use local admin rights. Whether it's you with your laptop here as a personal user, or if you're a company, enterprise, end user, or whatever, Windows is not meant to be secure if you're running an admin. Admins can do whatever they want, which means there is no security. I've made a few blogs. I don't know if you've seen these. You can see these blogs. The bottom one is something, and I put my heart into it, and I thought it was the best blog post I've ever written in my whole life. It took like 6 months of researching. I announced it last year at Ignite, showed Microsoft live on stage in front of 3,500 people that anything they say about DMA protection in Windows 10 is total bullshit, okay? I thought it was super fun. Now it has like 5,500 people who read the blog post, and I put it's like a book for me. I don't like writing books, but this is like my life's work put into this one article, and 5,500 people read it. Then I wrote the other one. When you upgrade Windows 10 and you press Shift F10, you get full access and BitLocker is disabled. currently 155,000 readers. So sadly, usually it's the simple stuff that pays off better, but that is a ridiculous thing. Even today I'll have to stand here in front of you, even though we are facing the 1709 release in a matter of days, which should be a matter of days anyway. The thing is still the same. If you do an in-place upgrade of Windows 10, it disables BitLocker. All protections are off. So the only thing I can say as a recommendation as a security consultant is do not allow unattended upgrades. I spent most of my life in airport lounges, and I'll tell you, even if the manager of the security, like the IT manager always tells me, our users are not that stupid, that they would leave their computer there unattended when it's upgrading. They look at the computer, yes, sure. Go to any airport lounge and you'll find like tens of computers upgrading Windows 10, and the guys know it takes 1.5 hours to 2 hours, so that's the perfect time to get more beer. I've taken pictures of like unattended installations just as a hobby, because that's exactly the time when people leave those computers. They don't want to sit there looking at a circle going around, okay? Sadly, it's not fixed. When I announced this, Microsoft was very unhappy. Michael Niehaus, like my best friend at Microsoft, he wrote on Facebook like an official statement that he hopes that one day he will be able to come up with something that will make Sami work as much as Sami has made me work during the past few weeks. It was a horrible case for them, because we can all understand that they're trying to promote the new cool way of just upgrading constantly, Windows as a service. And then whenever it upgrades, all protections are off. Now, if you keep the computers inside of your barriers, let's say they're inside of your firewalls, they're better secured, but then people forget about internal threats. The guy who can't play Spotify because you have an annoying group policy that blocks Spotify, whenever they get an upgrade, they get full admin. Then they can run Spotify again. So it's also the internal threats, not just someone stealing your computer, getting access to your files. It is BitLocker is very commonly mistaken as data encryption, although it's even more important for the integrity of the operating system. BitLocker has nothing, if I say you have to have BitLocker on every machine, it does have nothing to do with the fact that you would have secret stuff or non-secret stuff on your hard disk. I need BitLocker on every single box because it's part of the integrity of that operating system. Nowadays we have two rules. You can call them the immutable security laws of Sami. There is no security unless you have hard disk encryption or very good physical protections, meaning they're in a data center locked up, and you're not running an admin. And you have to have both, because if you are an admin, you can disable BitLocker. If you don't have hard disk encryption, you get admin. It doesn't help to have the other one, you have to have both. So now we're going to try to just prove this. So first of all, I'm going to do the oldest demo in the book, which means let's take Windows 10. I got a normal user here called Student25. He's not an admin on this box, but he wants to be an admin, and he doesn't have BitLocker, so we'll just get admin rights first. Let's take a bootable drive, I mean an ISO file in this case. So I'm going to take Windows 10 Enterprise 1703, choose whatever Windows installation media, Linux, Mac OS X, whatever you want to use to get this booted up. And then I'm just going to restart the box. Just as a small note for anyone organizing, oh, sorry, that's my bad. It's probably not set for the boot order. Let's change the boot order so that it boots up from a DVD. Anyone organizing a conference, do not have speakers having tables that are like 45 degrees angled. It's really annoying with the mouse. It's like horribly hard to do this. And now I'm talking when I'm supposed to be concentrating, which never works. That's like third charm tries the charm or whatever. Let's try that one again. So just boot it from anything and just we're going to do the old replace sticky keys example. Boot it up. You know what I'm talking about? So here we have a Windows installation. If you wanna, you can go and choose your own keyboard layouts. If you don't mind US keyboard layouts, you press Shift F10 to get to the command prompt. Just quickly change the font, 18, Lucida, bold, colors. I've done this a million times. Here we go. And we'll find our Windows box that's on the C drive. That's good. Okay, so we'll go for C Windows System 32. And we will make a backup because we're playing nice here, not a bad guy. So let's make a copy of z8c.exe. There is a particular reason why I copy it to the folder up. So I'll copy the z8c from System32 to C Windows for, you'll see later why. And then I'll just replace that with the CMD. So CMD.exe on top of z8c.exe, okay? Yes, please. Now this one copy command hacks any Windows from Windows XP to Server 2016 domain controllers if you don't have a BitLocker. So if you don't want to learn anything about this session and you have a boss who insists that they don't have budget for deploying BitLocker everywhere, just show them this, because one freaking command hacks any Windows, okay? Now when you get there, you just hit the Shift key 5 times when you're at the logon screen. You can do this with multiple different things as well. Hit the Shift key, get a command prompt. And now we're Mrs. System, okay? We own the box. So do properties, you know, as I said a million times. All right, so now we have Mrs. System. Now the first thing people start telling me is, okay, so you hacked the local box. So let's check out some users here. Master is an administrator, so that's fine. Let's set his password to QWERTY1. Oops, that's fine. Let's set his password to QWERTY1, and then don't want to have an empty space there. If you have users that are, for example, disabled, you could do net user administrator active yes. So policies don't help if you disable things or change their names or things like that. That won't help. If you don't like my command prompt stuff, just use computer management. Luckily, Windows can use cool tools even before anyone has logged on. So you have full access to whatever you want. So if you feel more confident in changing your administrator passwords, just do it here. Set password, QWERTY1. All right, thank you. That's disabled by security policies. That is so devastating. I'll have to just enable it again. Okay. People also tell me at this place that you just hacked the local box. That's not that dangerous. But people forget that in a Windows domain environment, the local system account uses the computer account to authenticate anything out of the box. So what people forget is I did only hack a local account, but I also hacked the local system account, which means that if I want to do recon, like Paula would do a pen test, they compromise a single machine, and the best thing is that now you can find these tools like, let's do administrators, add. Some people call this the object picker. I call it the best recon tool ever, okay? Because you can just say, I'm interested only in this company's domain controllers, only about the computer objects in this environment, and then just do advanced and find now, and okay, so those are the domain controllers, just hack those. You can list the sysvols, you can steal the passwords if you've done them the old bad way using group policy preferences. You get full computer level access to Active Directory, which means full read access. So yes, you hack the local box, but the more important thing for anyone who tries to penetrate your environment is the fact that they hack the computer account, which can do a lot of stuff in any Active Directory, and it's really hard to block them from doing it because your group policies would not work. All right? Now, that's just a way of getting admin, one way of getting admin rights. If it has BitLocker, then I'd say PowerPoint is easier. Just use a PowerPoint and hit an admin and make them run stuff they don't want to. I've done this for years, but I was happy to see that last year there was a real published attack with PowerPoint as well. So PowerPoint is one of the most successful ways of penetrating places, because if you have BitLocker, I could not have done this. I would have to do it with social engineering, making people run stuff I want them to run. If it has BitLocker and you use bad configuration, meaning you have computers that have Thunderbolt 3 badly protected, FireWire badly protected, Thunderbolt 2 badly protected, then check out my blog. Then you'll just use the DMA attacks against Windows 10 and get the key for BitLocker first and then do this. Or next week. Don't really do this, guys, girls. But like, think about this fact. Now, in the next week, they're going to announce 1709, which means you're going to find a lot of computers doing upgrades. Whenever it starts upgrading, it disables BitLocker, full access, you're in, okay? So for the few next weeks and months, we're going to have a very nice way of getting to a lot of computers. As Microsoft says, about almost like 200 million computers now, because Windows 10 is used by everyone, and no one uses Windows 7 anymore. Yeah, right. All right, so now we got an account here. Let's log on with master. That's our local account that I just hacked. So /master, password query1. Let's log that on so we can get forward, okay? Now you have the foot between the door of the company. So that's what I wanted to point out. Not just hacking a local computer, but having access to access to an environment, okay? So you got the the computer account now hacked. Well, sometimes people try to get away with this cheap, meaning they try to use things like RunAss, using tools that will allow a user to be a local limited user, and when it starts an application, that application will be elevated to admin. You can do it the cool way, like Avecto does. After my session later today, there's a session from Avecto where they show how to run as limited user. I love their stuff. Many people still think that they're expensive, which means that they try to get around this by themselves. Let's take a great example. These guys hate me. There's a company called Wingnut Software, created a tool called RunAss. Now, Microsoft has always had a tool called RunAss, but the problem is that if I use this RunAss, I can create user shortcuts that will, for example, start up, let's say, what could that be? Photoshop, for example. Photoshop as an elevated one. This is what I've seen in real life, because Photoshop does not require admin rights, but if you change color profiles through Photoshop, that requires admin rights. So some schools suffer with this. They need to give admin rights because of this Photoshop color calibration stuff. And you could do this. Use RunAss, photoshop.exe/saved creds. Would save the credentials. For the first time, they would ask for an admin account and a password, and then from that on, it would just start. Now, that's not secure, because you could go and tweak that shortcut to start whatever you want, okay? So many companies came up with these tools that are called encrypted RunAss, one of them being RunAss, one of them being sudo Win. Don't blame the guys I'm going to use as the example here. It's not their fault. Every one of these tools works the same. So why they hate me is because I showed this at Ignite as well. And using their software as the example is not very good promotion, how to hack someone's software. But I was fair. I paid for the license first. So I think that's nice of me. I actually bought the license, okay? So that tool is here on my machine. And we can go for, let's see, ctemp RunAss. We have this tool here called runAss.exe. This one can be used to create, for example, in this case, command line as demo admin. If I run this, it starts without asking anything. And if you look at who I am, I'm now an admin. Normally, I am just a user called Sami. So elevation with no questions. Cool, but I'm sensing a but here. First of all, I tried for years. I thought I would be able to hack their stuff somehow. So I went to things like this. Let's do type. But that's what the file looks like. That's why they call it encrypted RunAss. Theoretically, it does exactly the same as RunAss would, but it just encrypts the shortcut. So a malicious user cannot say, let's instead of CMD run SAP or whatever you want. So they're trying to block that. Now, this is not the problem. They're very good in securing their stuff when it comes to encryption, but here comes API mon. okay? If you don't have AppMon version 2, get it. It's perfect for troubleshooting, but sadly also perfect for stealing secrets, okay? It monitors any API calls inside of Windows going from a application to another. So normal API calls, or to the operating system as well. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to monitor for a function here called create process with logon W. That is the one that's used by all of these encrypted RunAss tools, sudo win RunAss, whatever, okay? I'm going to monitor for that. Then I'm going to launch RunAss with the file as the parameter, okay? And, oh my God, I'm actually, you know what I did? I did something that I normally don't do. So I forgot that I actually elevated API monitor, which I don't have to, because API monitor, even more weird, it doesn't even require admin rights to monitor stuff. So I haven't registered it for my admin account because I don't want to use it there. So now we got the same one here already monitored, and I'm going to run runAss.exe, starts that thing, and if you go back here and look at this, it shows you that the username is demoadmin, the domain is xenx1, and password is Finland, Sweden 621. Ice hockey, of course. So now the encryption is considered very good. It's AES 256. Very, very strong. You can't attack that, but people and devs especially forget how many layers there are in security. It's a really cool way of getting things from all sorts of scripts and applications, okay? Now, I have to keep up with the time. Let's shut that down. What do we have next? Block group policy, okay? Group policy is something that people try to use to somehow manage our computers. Let's do that. We got a domain controller here, which this Windows 10 computer here on the right side is part of. So I'm just gonna enable a group policy. Let's go to group policy management. Group policy management, and I will enable RDP on. It's now disabled, so let's link enable that one. Okay, we'll go back here. And currently, this machine, if you look at the computer properties, you will see that there is the remote box here. And it's allowed for me to change it because I'm now a local admin. I stole the admin creds, okay? Well, actually not stole the creds, but got access as an admin, okay? If we'll go and just hit group policy, GP update, run it. If anyone in this classroom felt a little twist of a knife in your heart as I did not use /force, you should come to my course, okay? I know, I saw some of you like, All right. Now we'll look at the same setting here, which is now blocked. It's grayed out, okay? Let's go to Google. This feels so good because I spent last week at Ignite binging freaking everything. So let's do let's Google for group policy settings reference, okay? It's an Excel file. It's easier like this. Bing takes you to group therapy, which is almost the same. Let's do download and just open up that Excel file. And that Excel file is great for any one of you who's trying to deploy new versions of Windows 10 because it has this new column here, new in Windows 10, and then the different versions. It's a perfect thing for documenting your group policy settings in a very, very easy way. But now I'm not there for that. I am here for the setting itself. That setting is called something like allow users to connect remotely. All right, I happen to know it, makes it easier. Allow users to connect remotely by using remote desktop services. The first good thing is it's Excel, so you can search rather than using the group policy editor. But the even better one is that it also shows you the actual registry keys. So it shows you where that setting is set. Which means now we know where it is, and of course, use it for bad purposes. So let's do regedit. Elevate that, find that group policy setting, HKey local machine, software, policies, Microsoft, Windows NT, terminal services, FDN ITS connections, right-click, delete. Yes, please. And now you can do whatever you want again, okay? Now, the AD people in this room, I mean the Active Directory people in this room, they will always tell me that, yeah, but that's only for 90 to 120 minutes because then group policy update kicks in. The bad thing about group policy update is GP update runs every 90 to 120 minutes on every startup, on every logon, but it only reads policies if they have changed. I did not change the policy. I just removed it from my computer. That will never come back before someone physically touches that group policy setting in the editor or changes group policy client service settings themselves to read policies even if they have not changed. Why does group policy update really work that well? It works that well because it's never run, except for security policies every 16 hours by default. It's the only exception to the rule. Otherwise, it's never run. All right? Well, you could start playing against me, but you'll lose. Because you will come up with the group policy setting that will enforce this so that every time group policy updates, it will read the settings even if they have not changed. But, sadly, policies, right-click, permissions, Mrs. System, deny, and I have no policies anymore. Because Windows is built in a bit stupid way that if you can't read the rules, they don't apply. It's like if you were blind, you wouldn't have to obey the law. But it technically works like that. So block Mrs. System from reading your company policies, and that's another way of doing it. All right. Privileges beat permissions. If you don't learn anything other from this course except kalsarikännit, and the other one you should learn is the fact that this is the most important rule in Windows security. Windows security is built of different kinds of access controls. We got mandatory integrity control, we got access control lists, we got privileges. So there are different ways of managing security. Now what I'm trying to do here, I'm not trying to actually write SMS messages while talking to you, but I'm trying to get this freaking thing not to shut down all the time, because I can't see it's auto-locking. I'm from Finland, so I'm like obligated to use Nokia phones. So using an iPhone is really new to me, so you have to give me some slack. Our economy relies on us. So, override anything. Let's get back to the earlier example. We have a problem here. What problem? Well, the problem is that if you look at my Windows 10, and if I hit the Shift key 5 times, still get a command prompt. I'm hacked, okay? How to unhack this? Now, privileges are crazy cool. So let's just do this with a privilege. Let's try first. Let's open a few things here. So secpol.msc, our local security editor. And we have these things here called user rights assignment. And I have this one privilege here called restore files and directories, okay? So let's take a command prompt. Let's elevate it. So it's not the problem of UAC. Oh, darn. Once more. I know I wasn't here last year, and I know Johan was, so if you were here for Johan Arvidmark, he made me a huge favor, because I always told everyone that we do this black on black, which is called the ninja mode, which means that because you're so good with Windows, you don't have to see what you write, you just feel what you write, okay? But then Johan made, my blog was that, and then Johan combined it with his own blog, so he took PowerShell, changed it to be blue on blue, and changed the default error action to be a reboot. So if you do a typo, it boots the box. So that's hardcore learning. Like, you really, really need to know your stuff. Let's not get there. I'm not really that ninja yet, so let's try. let's try something else. So let's try this one. Okay. Copy. we have a backup. I made a backup. So let's try to revert the hack. C Windows set hc.exe will be copied to C Windows system32. All right? And replace, absolutely no bonus, because it's protected by Windows Resource Protection now. We're on a live machine. We did it on an offline machine, that was fine, but now we're on a live machine, okay? Can't do it, which means I could do it the hard way, which would be reboot again to Windows PE, fix the problem, and boot back. I could do it through the registry. I could take ownership. It's owned by the Windows Modules installer, aka trusted installer. It's owned by him, so you could take ownership, give yourself access to it, remove attributes, and then revert everything back. Very tedious compared to, what if we change the tool? Let's change to Robocopy, okay? Robocopy, which is a folder copy tool, so you have to say the source folder, then you put in the destination folder, and then you put in a filter on what you want to copy. Okay? That won't work because it's an access issue. It's access denied. It doesn't matter what tool you use, except Robocopy can use the backup API, which means you can overwrite anything you want. Okay? Because you don't have to worry about any access control because you have the privilege, and privileges always beat permissions. So you can override whatever you want. I use it a lot for replacing DLLs for devs. They always call me like, I'm trying to replace a DLL in program files and it's owned by trusted installer and blah, 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 blah. Just, okay? Overwrites anything. Now you probably also can guess why doesn't any kind of access control mechanism work against admins. What if I have a group policy object, take it down to your computer, you can override whatever you want. Whatever your Active Directory guys shoot at you, okay? Active Directory guys will never win this game. The most idiotic comment ever is that like enterprise admins rule the house or domain admins rule the house. They will never ever rule a local admin. Because by definition, they can be kicked out of the administrators group as Mrs. System or Mr. Administrator cannot. They're built in, hard-coded into Windows. So, but again, your HR wins. HR can also always kick you out of the company, so don't like take this too far. I've tried it. Been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, don't do it, okay? Now, that's one. Let's take another privilege. Let's see how we're on time. Let's do another privilege. I have a few other privileges that I usually show. One of them would be take ownership of files of other objects. So that is, I'm not going to show the demo to full extent, but I'll explain. The weird thing is that if you try to prevent someone on this box of reading something, so let's say we have a C and we got a folder called secret, okay? Now this secret has super secret stuff. CEO has put super secret stuff here. In this case, in Finnish case, that would be speeding tickets. Because all Finnish people are interested in speeding tickets because our tickets are based on your income, which means you will know how much your boss earns. Okay? Just do reverse engineering on the local police website and it shows you how much they earn. Anyway, speeding tickets are here. Now, if this boss here, let's pretend this is our boss, okay? Boss goes over the network to that same computer, and that's not the correct computer. That's why. Let's try that again. 252. Here we go. Secret, speeding tickets. Properties, security, edit. Oh my God, those guys there, the local users, they can read my speeding tickets. That will not do. Advanced, disable inheritance, remove all inherited permissions. I'm going to add myself here, the administrator. He will be allowed to do whatever he wants, okay? So that's mine. I will also take the ownership, absolutely. I don't want that master to own it, because that would mean they would get in. So administrator. And administrator now owns that as well, okay? That looks good. But I want to make 100% sure that he does not get into my speeding tickets, which means add. select principal, local box called master. That's the guy we're logged on as. Master will have no permissions here, and even better, show admin permissions. Deny, take ownership. Okay? Explicit deny against that user. You know that deny rules override allow. You know that explicit overrides implicit. There's so many things here. And now, even if we do this, we can't fight against the privileges. Because he's now denied of taking ownership. But I, as I showed you, have the privilege of taking ownership. And privileges beat permissions, which means if I try to do this, that's access denied, yeah, sure. Right-click properties, security, advanced. I'll change that to myself. Master, sorry, wrong. I think I had clicked on domain. Let's do that, so I'll just cancel that out. Let's do that again. Student 2252, master, check names, okay. I want to be the owner, apply, okay, okay, okay. Right-click, properties, security, master, edit, full control. Oh, master as well, full control. I don't like admin. Kick him out. Just to be fair, and then we can go back to our speeding tickets, okay? You cannot control admins with access control because they will always have privileges. Now, could you take away the privileges? No, you can't, because they can put it back. So there's no way of blocking that. What if we get this domain admin to do the stupidest thing ever in the history of Windows, which is he will bite my bait. I will call him. Hi, this is Sami calling. I'm actually literally in front of about 200 people in the Netherlands, and I'm doing a really critical session here, and my freaking PowerPoint doesn't work. Can you please just try to log on to my box and fix that freaking PowerPoint? Okay, thank you, bye. Well, if he does everything by the book, we're okay. But what if he does the silly thing, which is he actually logs on to an endpoint with a domain admin account, which should never ever happen. Let's still do this. No. Dojo. .local. And you know what messes up demos? I just realized it. Hi. This won't take long. Oh, it's taking longer than expected. I sat there through Tim's session and I went through like every freaking user account that I could come up with. Like, I'm not gonna end up with this, and still. So he's logging onto the box. And what we'll do is we will download a tool called Process Hacker 2. If you have two tools for troubleshooting, you should always have Process Explorer and Process Hacker 2. Why? Because Process Explorer is built by Mark Rusinovich, and he's a white hat guy working for Microsoft, which means Process Explorer will never ever have the bad things in it. Alex Ionescu, the other co-author of Windows Internal 6th edition, Alex instead is a pure, well, maybe a gray hat, but like closer to a black hat. So he has to build his own tool, because Mark will not allow him to put the bad stuff in Process Explorer. Otherwise, they would be fine with one, but Microsoft will never ever allow that to happen. So now this administrator guy is logged onto the box, okay? He's here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch user, and I'm going to switch to this master user. We could do this automated in the background as well, but even more fun, let's do it here just live. Process Explorer, Process Hacker is your best tool for many things, because you can think about the situation. Now, I'm going to show you a demo. Put this into the context where you're an admin who's worried why a service does not work. Service can't access something. Service can't get to SQL. Service can't get to Exchange. Service can't get through proxy, whatever. The next demo is a perfect one for those cases, because you can impersonate a service. Become a service, whatever service you want, because now what we're going to use is the next one, which is my privilege called impersonate a user after authentication. I'll have to elevate this process, because it's not in my access token without elevation. Let's elevate this, and now we'll see that we still have this Explorer here. That's me. Explorer is running there, but I think we should have another guy here as well. Somewhere. Where's my... Here we have administrator, this one. That's the Dojo administrator, okay? So right-click, miscellaneous, run as this user, cmd.exe, and now you're the domain admin. Now, impersonation has few problems to it. One, it is tied up to the fact that it can only be used after logon, okay? I couldn't impersonate the domain admin if I wouldn't make them log on with this social engineering. And the next thing people think, like, it's not that bad because impersonation only works over one hop, which means that I can impersonate domain admin here on this box and go to his documents on this box, but if I try to destroy the Active Directory, it won't work because an impersonated token will not work over 2 hops. So that helps you a little bit until we get to the next, which is even more ridiculous, okay? So I will do a really quick change from master to administrator again. And we're going to, just to keep up with the slides, we're going to steal sessions now, okay? Let's do another example. I'm just going to have this notepad running here. I don't want to update OneDrive. Notepad, and have a freaking huge sign here, just to note us that this is the domain admin, okay? Now, let's log on with master again. Leave that in the background. Think about this on a Citrix box, because that's where that's why this was invented, okay? So let's go for master again. Now, for these things that are called session shadowing in Windows, they build up a thing to do exactly that on a server. But in Windows 10, if you look at Task Manager and go for more details and go for users, and you see administrator here, this won't work, because if I say I want to connect to it, it asks me for a password. That's logical, okay. Now, I'm the local admin, which means I can become Mrs. System whenever I want. Let's use bsexec from sysinternals. I'll just start a CMD with system account. And I'll start a task manager from that, which means this task manager is now running as Mrs. System. Go for administrators, right-click connect. And now I'm the domain admin. Now I'm not impersonating. I am actually him, which means now I can destroy the Active Directory as well. It's not an impersonated token, it's a full-blown token, okay? Oh my God, we got 1 minute and 46 seconds. Elevate to domain admin. All right, this was the elevation to a domain admin. The old trick of how to do this would be with a scheduled task. So what I do quite often is just have a scheduled task that has the... I can't help myself, let's do this. This is so much fun, okay? Let's do a task scheduler. I, as the local master, whoever I am, local admin, there's a huge bug in this, if you ask me. I'll just create a scheduled task here. And that scheduled task will be create new task. I will call it Adobe update, so no one will suspect anything. I'm going to run it as the administrator of this company. Now the weird thing is that if I run this as another user, Server 2003 and XP would still ask you for the password of that user. Since Vista, it doesn't anymore. So you can choose whoever you want to run it as, okay? So I'll say domain admin here and skip UAC. Only thing in Windows that skips UAC by default, so run with highest privileges. I'm going to say let's trigger this whenever someone logs on to this box, okay? Add log on, okay? What is the action? The action is going to be net.exe with the arguments of group domain admins, and my user account was student 25. I know. Stop. Shut up. You didn't hear that, okay? Student 25, add domain. Which means that now when someone logs onto this box, they will run netgroup domain admins me add domain, okay? Leave it there and just make the same call you did earlier, okay? So let's log off this box. Just sign out. Let's go back to our domain controller. Let's see student 25 here somewhere, classroom users. Student 25 is member of domain users and something called G classroom students, okay? Because this is my lab environment I'm using for the demos. And then I have our domain administrator here making the same fault again, which means he's logging on to somewhere he shouldn't, dojo.local. And the password was, I can't tell you. So now he logs on, and box starts, something happens, and you go for member of, and now you're a domain admin, okay? So, trickery. This is so fun. I promised a few people here, and especially I promised on Twitter, I said, I will do the session in Netherlands, and I will show a cool new way of hacking AppLocker on Windows 10. Now the problem was that I was a little busy last week at Ignite, so actually when Paula was speaking today, I actually figured it out. Because I just started the morning sitting here and like, I have to freaking hack AppLocker, and I have like an hour and a half to find a way around this before I have to be here on stage. So luckily I did. I know Windows quite well, which means that I usually can just think of like new ways of getting around things. So this luckily worked as well. We got Windows 10 box here, and if we do, this is the last thing, then I'll let you do your lunch. It takes like 2 minutes, okay? So we got this machine here, and this machine is Windows 10 Enterprise, which means it has AppLocker, and we will do, let's see what AppLocker does. So application control policies here, and we will just configure that rule enforcement. So enforce rules, have to do it for the packaged app as well. I will create the default rules for both. I know this is a quick and dirty way of doing an AppLocker, but just anyway. That's there. Now the problem is the service is not running by default in Windows 10, and it doesn't even understand group policy, which means I have to do it with the sc command. scconfig app id service start value of where's my freaking, there we go, start menu of auto, and then sc start app id service. Okay, that's starting, pending, great. Now that's there, and we are, who are we? Oh my god, I honestly look messing out who we are. Let's, I think I'm still logged on as I'm logged on as the admin. So let's log off him. Then we will log on as a normal user called student 25, who just hacked himself to be an admin as well, as we saw earlier. He became a domain admin. So let's do that. Win10, 1, 2, 3, bang. Now, if we have a limited user on this box, I think we don't. We'll just have to come up with, I probably was still logged on somehow, because this looks like I'm not running an admin. Feels like it. Let's try this. CMD. Let's try to run. We can run tools from sysinternals like access check, okay? Because they are now in the program files folder, which is whitelisted by default in AppLocker. So if you go for sysint and run access check, that works because it's in the program files. Let's copy that access check to ctemp, which doesn't exist. Ctemp. Let's go back there and run access check from here. Still runs, which I didn't expect, because AppLocker should be alive already. This is not the time to do troubleshooting. I'm successful at breaking AppLocker, yeah, but this is absolutely not the way of how I wanted to do it, okay? So let's see first, who am I/all. So we see our group memberships. And I'm just a user, authenticated user. Nothing that points that I would be an admin. Oh, I forgot one thing. App ID service, AppLocker, has a freaking 2-minute timeout. I've done this many times. So if you're troubleshooting AppLocker, wait 2 minutes. It's like, does anyone run SCCM? Who runs SCCM? What's the most important troubleshooting tip for SCCM? You wait for 30 minutes and pray. So it's kind of the same for AppLocker, okay? Wait 2 minutes and pray. So now he can't access that. Except the Windows documentation, which is not totally public, but I have a little bit more access. Sadly, let's restart this box again. Now, if you have BitLocker, you have to first call into your help desk and say that you can't open your computer and it asks for the recovery password and get it from your company. Or even better, some companies use MBAM with a self-service portal, which is like even better. It's like, oh, BitLocker protocol. Oh yeah, let's go to the help self-service portal. Now what you do is Shift F10, and there is this really, really weird thing. See, Windows System 32. This is not Windows 7. This applies only to Windows 10, okay? So RD AppLocker SQ. That's it. No more AppLocker for this computer. One command. That's the local cache. They tried to change it to be better than Windows 7, which has a really poor caching for AppLocker. They invented a cache, but now we can destroy the cache a lot easier than ever before. So now, student 25 will log on and you will get lunch. Should I be playing a little bit Nostradamus here and just make sure that if it fails, I'm quite sure why it fails? Because when I tested this out, I switched the NIC off so that it will force it to use the cached version. So now if it's connecting to Active Directory and refreshing AppLocker, then it might still work. Anyway, so we can, I honestly don't know why nothing works when you're faced with lunch or beer. Trust me, guys, it works, okay? I think I showed enough examples of why you can't be an admin, so I think you should just take my word for it, okay? If you want to see more stuff, I run courses at PDFs for Windows troubleshooting, Windows advanced troubleshooting, which is Windows internals, or used to be called that. I do a lot of things on Pluralsight. You should check it out. If you need Pluralsight free codes for 30 days, unlimited access, contact me, and I will give you those codes. They're better than the ones you get from the website because they're 10 days and limited to a certain amount of hours. But I can give you those full passes. I'm happy to give them because every minute you watch my videos, the royalty is in my pocket. So even for the free ones. So I'm happy to give you those. It's not a problem at all. Check out my Twitter and my blogs, and let's enjoy lunch. Thank you very much.